Hello, it's Sunday morning. We're down in the little shed. We contemplated, because it is quite a nice day, we contemplated kind of going up to our table in the garden, but we're not absolutely sure. So it's one of those tricky things. It's a little bit warm in here actually, isn't it? So Molly has been, let me flip it round, Molly has been chalking her hair this morning. So we look a little bit like, I think you look like the one out of The Descendants, what's the name?
I think it's
Liv?
No, Evie or Uma. I don't know
Evie
really.
or Uma, yeah, okay. But one of the nice ones, not the one that's the.
No, I don't really know what you're talking about. So I think it's like Evie or Uma. Well,
Okay.
Uma's a bad one. Evie's a good one.
Well, it'll be the good one. I wouldn't say you look like anybody evil, but I think that's really good because last time it didn't really kind of. It showed in a few places, but it's really showing up well. Really showing up well. So, it being Sunday, we've got picture books again. Back tomorrow for the final few chapters of Wishing Chair. But today, and we had a kind of like a little quiz yesterday. So we had things written on my top. I've got other things written on my top today, but there's no quiz question related to those. So you still need to write in for whatever the film was that my fleece yesterday referenced, and we got a different quiz today. And this is one where you've got to think a bit more. You've got to think harder on this one. So today's quiz, we're going to be doing. We've done books again. We had one yesterday by Jim Field, but Kes Gray and Jim Field, who are the Oi Frog people, they did this one early on in their careers called How Many Legs. So you've got to work out how many legs, and we're not going to help you. So there's a kind of like you've got to write in and say what the sum is at the end. But you'll see how that works. You've got to count the legs as we go through it. So we got how many legs? That's your quiz question for today. We have also got The Hug, which is a very clever book because it's about this tortoise.
And if you flip it round.
And it's about this hedgehog. And you'll have to decide which way we start. But it's halfway through the book.
I think it's
halfway
the hedgehog
through the book.
first.
It flips over, and you have to read the other end.
I think it's the hedgehog first.
Hedgehog first, okay. In which case we will read the hedgehog end first. Then we've got a book called The Night Box. Sorry if I'm a bit sniffy. It's a bit of a hay fever day today.
I just chose this one.
I can barely remember this one.
So I haven't read it.
So I hope it's a good one. So let me go and read the back. The back says, when Max turns a magical key and opens the night box, darkness swoops out, a fox uncurls, and 1,000 stars sparkle and shine. The night comes out to play in this enchanting bedtime story about the wondrous and magical nature of nighttime. So yeah, that sounds interesting. And then, because it's me, there's always got to be an Oliver Jeffers in there. So this is his one about, he's done various books about the planet. And this one is very much kind of planet and kind of like the whole nature side of it. It's called This Moose Belongs to Me. All about things that we're just passing through, and we've got to take ownership of what we look after while we're here. So what's the order? Are we going to start with how many legs or finish with how many legs?
I think finish with
how many legs. Okay, so what's the order up till then?
Moose.
Hug, night box.
Moose.
Starting with moose. There's a moose loose about this hoose. Ooh, sorry, I'm very sniffy today. Sorry for everybody for my sniffiness. Oh look, got this one signed as well. Look, there he's done the little boy. That's the little boy from the other books, isn't it?
Yeah.
But he's drawn that, and he's to Tim.
How to Catch a Star, The Way Back Home, Lost and Found, Up and Down.
Very good, very good. You're a proper expert on Oliver Jeffers. So this little boy, not the same little boy, Wilfred. Wilfred owned a moose. He hadn't always owned a moose. The moose came to him a while ago, and he just knew that it was meant to be his. He thought he would call him Marcel. Put a little tag on him saying Marcel.
He began following Marcel, explaining the rules of how to be a good pet. Much of the time it seemed as though the moose wasn't listening, but Wilfred knew he was, mostly because he followed Rule 4 very well, not making too much noise while Wilfred plays his record collection. Has he got any of the records that Daddy's got? I'm not sure, that might be Joni Mitchell, so we might share a record there. Sometimes the moose wasn't a very good pet. He generally ignored Rule 7, going whichever way Wilfred wants to go. The moose had a very good sense of direction, and Wilfred did not. And because the moose was particularly poor on Rule 7, subsection B, maintaining a certain proximity to home, Wilfred quickly learned to bring some string-alongs on their outings so he could find his way back again. Somebody going past the shed. Sometimes the moose was an excellent pet. He had no trouble with Rule 11, providing shelter from the rain, or Rule 16, knocking down things that are out of Wilfred's reach. Good work. One day, as Wilfred discussed their plans for the coming year on a particularly long walk, he made a terrible discovery. Someone else thought they owned the moose. "Rodrigo, you're back!" Wilfred was dumbstruck. This moose was Marcel, not Rodrigo. The old lady was mistaken, and Wilfred thought it only proper that he correct her. "This moose belongs to me," he explained. And to prove it, he called Marcel. "Heel!" But the moose did not respond. He seemed more interested in the old lady. "Good, Rodrigo." Fine! Embarrassed and enraged, Wilfred rushed off for home. But in his haste and miles from anywhere, he tripped over his string and got tangled up. And there he lay. Wilfred was beginning to get a little bit worried. It was past his home time now, and the monsters would be out soon. The monsters. That's a worry. He had just ruled out the last of his options. We get all the books. What book's that from then?
The Great Paper.
Great Paper Caper. And there's the penguin from all the other books.
Hammer.
Can't think what that was from. Maybe from Stuck. Yeah. So he just ruled out all of his options when along came the moose. And performing Rule 73 brilliantly, rescuing your owner from perilous situations. He's just hooked him up. All was forgiven, and perhaps Wilfred admitted he'd never really owned the moose anyway. With that in mind, he and the moose reached a compromise. The moose would agree to all of Wilfred's rules whenever it suited him. "Dominic, you're back and you brought me an apple." So he's known as lots of things to lots of people. Right, I need to blow my nose. Do you need a slurp of hot chocolate?
Okay.
We've got our hot chocolates again today. I've got my usual salted caramel. Molly's got her usual white chocolate and berry. Is it good?
Yeah.
Put a little dash of milk in there, hopefully to make it a little bit better. And I put a little bit of white chocolate and berry in my one. So I'm going to have a little slurp of that before the next one. Hope everyone's having a good Sunday. So we're having all how many legs last, aren't we? So let's do the night box next. The night box. So this is a new one on both of us, isn't it? The night box. Don't know either of those authors. Day is yawning. Quiet settles in the trees, the birds fold their wings, and the singing stops. Yellow sinks behind the rooftops, and a little boy watches the last drips of light drop down onto long shadows. Plop. But what is he holding? Is it a key? "It's time for bed, Max," his mother calls softly. Day slips out of the leaves, out of the pond, out of the pink rose and the blue ball. Max waves goodbye. A fox uncurls, blinks, sniffs, thinks, is Day still here? But Day is sleepy. The milk-white daisies droop and close, a bank of tiny ghosts. 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 wings, wait. As Day inches like a snail around the clock, tick-tock, tick-tock. In the kitchen, the spoons stop clinking. Good night, they wink to the kettle. Everything waits. The long window waits for the heavy drapes. The bare walls wait for a shadow. A bed waits for a boy. A lock waits for a key. Here is Max's mother, with milk and a song. She kisses him, and she kisses the bear. Then she's gone. Look, among the toys, what peeps out? Not a rabbit, not a whistle, not a drum. A box of midnight blue. The night box is waiting too. Max smiles, for he knows it's time, and the waiting is done. Gently he turns the key in the night box. Click, and another click. Up comes the lid. Whoosh! Day slips inside as night sweeps out. Darkness tumbles into the air. It dances and whirls around the room. It goes under the bed, under the chair, everywhere. Hello, Night, laughs Max. Night is mischievous. It chases blue, white, pink and green away. Max presses his ears to the darkness. Night turns tiny sounds up loud. Just a plink, that's all. Just a drip, not a waterfall. Just a tap on the window pane. Just a little branch as gentle as rain. Nothing more. Just the tinkle of a bell, then a purr. Not a lion, it's a kitten. Max holds on tight as darkness swirls and spills like ink into the world. Night is huge. It can hold a house and a pond and a forest, a mountain and a whale, even an ocean too. Night soars, streams, stretches up to the sky like a kite, and suddenly 1,000 stars sparkle and fizz, shine and spin. This way, they say to a swan. Where is she going? She beats her strong white wings and honks one word. Home. Night is gentle. It floats down to the ground like a feather. It covers a fawn asleep with her mother. Night is brave. Leave them in peace, Night warns. Night shakes itself into the trees. Come, badger. Come, mole. Come, owl. Come, fox. Let's play. And out of the shadows they snout and snuffle, leap and swoop. Night gives a moon to a pond and a mole to a goose. Now a rose has a fox and a kitten, she has the milk. Everything has something in the dark. The branch has an owl and the wall has a tree, and Max has a bear and a soft warm bed. Night is kind. Night stays in Max's room silent and strong all night long, to hold in its arms a bear and a boy. But Night gets sleepy too. Good night, me, it sighs to itself. My job is done. It's time to return. And when Night falls asleep, Max opens the box and whoosh! Night slips inside as Day sweeps out. Day breathes into the leaves, quiet flies out of the trees, yellow rises from the rooftops, and a new song begins.
Looks like it's snowing.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah. So that's Day sleeping out and Night sleeping back in. There we go. Well, that was pretty. That was a pretty book. Pretty book. Right, quick slurp of hot chocolate. You having one? Is it cold enough to drink?
No, it's fine.
Yeah. Right, so we'll start with the hedgehog end. Who's this going past? Don't know you. You look a bit like the one out of E17 who fell over and ran over a jacket potato. That man. Brian somebody. Can't think of his name. So this is by Owen McLaughlin and Polly Dunbar, and actually they released another book last week all about, because we've got to do, you've got a hair on your nose, hang on, let me get rid of that hair. Got
Probably
There we go. There we go.
from the cat. Probably.
Yeah. They did one last week because we can't hug people at the moment. Well, I can hug you and you can hug Mummy and Emily, but we can't hug people at the moment. They've done an updated version of this, all about the coronavirus, really, about social distance hugging. So they've kept it nice and current. So Polly Dunbar, Owen McLaughlin, The Hug. Hedgehog was feeling sad as a hedgehog can feel. So sad, only one thing could help. Hello, said Hedgehog. Hello, said Fox. Please may I have a hug? Asked Hedgehog. I'd love to, replied Fox, but I've just got to knock over that bin. That's a strange reason to not have a hug, isn't it? Bang, crash, splat. That is what foxes do. They rifle through bins. I'm feeling quite sad and would very much like a hug, said Hedgehog. I'm a little busy counting all of my nuts, replied Squirrel, who only had 3 nuts. That's not going to take a lot of counting. 1, 2, 3. Now I'll have to start over. 1, 2, 3. Look, that's not really a hug. That's just being brushed. Might you just give me a small hug, begged Hedgehog. Perhaps after I sing my song, replied Magpie, which is quite long. Squawk, 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 squawk. Why will no one hug me? Hedgehog sniffed. You're just a little bit tricky to hug, replied Owl, with all your prickly prickles. But don't worry, there's someone for everyone. Now I am even more sad, said Hedgehog. Will I ever find someone to hug? And that's when... And is that where we got to flip over? They met.
Yeah. Now it's the...
Now we have to... And that's when they... And I think that's when they have to... Let's flip over and find Tortoise's story. Tortoise was feeling sad as a tortoise can feel. So sad, only one thing could help.
Exactly the same.
Hello, said Tortoise. Hello, said Badger. Might you give me a big hug? Asked Tortoise. I'm sorry, but my hands are sticky, replied Badger. Slurp, guzzle, slurp, slurp. What was he doing the first time round? Can't remember.
I think eating berries.
Was he eating berries?
From there.
Yeah. Might I trouble you for a small hug? Asked Tortoise. Not right now, said Rabbit. Unfortunately, I'm digging a very important hole. Dig, 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 dig. Do you have time for a quick hug? Asked Tortoise. Not today, replied Frog. Sorry, but I have to jump over there now.
That's not really important.
That's not really important, is it? Boing. Poor old Tortoise. How sad does that look? Why will no one hug me? Asked Tortoise. It's your shell, replied Owl. It's just so very hard. But don't worry, there's someone for everyone. Now I am even more sad, said Tortoise. Will I ever find someone to hug? And that's when they met. I think they're going to run each other now. And that's when they hugged, as happy as a hug can make you, as happy as two someones can be. There's Hedgehog and there's Tortoise having a hug. Yeah, that's a nice story. Good choice. Good choice. Right, now your quiz question for the day. Hang on. Your quiz question for the day. So I hope you got yesterday's one.
The first one is always easy.
Yes, absolutely. So the idea is, and we're not going to help you. The answer is on the final page, and we're not going to say it. I'm looking at it right now, and you can't see it. But it says the correct answer is, can't say it. Right, so we're not going to help you. We might do the odd bit of kind of, this was another one that was signed by Kez and Jim. Tell Molly, enjoy the counting. So, you're counting the number of legs. How many legs would there be if in this room there was only me? I think everybody could probably be okay on that one, aren't they? We might even help them too. How many legs would there be if a polar bear came for tea? So you've got to count up a boy and a polar bear. How many legs would it make if a duck arrived with a lemon cake? Has a lemon cake got any legs? No, but a duck has got some legs.
Well, I think they just said that to be Romy.
Yes. How many legs would be on view if a hippo was invited too? I think you're looking at the picture of the hippo there. I think you can count the legs. So we've got a polar bear, a duck, a boy and a hippo to be added. How many legs would you see if a dog walked in with a chimpanzee? So you've now got to add in a chimpanzee and a dog to your number. How many legs would be found if a seagull joined us on the ground? So you've got all the other ones to count, and now you've got to add in a seagull. What would all the legs come to if a frog hopped in on a kangaroo? That looks like the frog from Oi Frog, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So you've got a kangaroo to add in and a frog to add in. And there's a reminder of all the ones in case you've forgotten about any of those. Hope your counting's getting on okay at home. How high would the leg count go if a squid rode in on a buffalo? So you better home in on the kind of like the squid, just in case anybody needs to count how many legs are on a squid. Okay, so you've seen the squid and there's a buffalo there. We'll help you out. Buffalo's got 4 legs, but I'm not going to help you out with the squid. How many legs would there be if a flea flew in on a bumblebee? You better focus in a bit on the bumblebee and the flea, just so people can remind themselves how many legs are on fleas and on bumblebees. Would the leg count go right up if an octopus and a pig turned up? The figures are getting big now, so we've got an octopus to count in. Octo may help some people, because oct is Latin for 8. And you've got to add in the pig as well. So would the leg count go right up if an octopus and a pig turned up? Why would the number stay the same if a slug, a snail and a maggot came? Well, I think we know the answer to that. Because there's no legs going on there. He's quite cute. He'd be your favourite out of those 3.
Yeah.
Yes. How would the number multiply if a centipede came wiggling by? Now, I think we'll help the people at home and say that for this, a centipede has 100 legs, but I think in reality, centipedes don't have 100 legs. I think they have about 60 legs in real life. But for the purposes of this book, a centipede has 100 legs. How many legs would you find if a cow walked in with a goat behind? So, got to add in a cow and a goat to the rest of the party going on here. Leg-wise, what would be the score if we were joined by a dinosaur?
Wait, may I help you with the last bit, because you don't count the table.
You don't count the table. You are right. Does it remind you of that? I think it does, doesn't it? If you lose count, don't feel bad. A sum this big could send you mad. No need to tie your brain in knots. Let's just say the answers. Is it going to be the answer? Lots. No, you've still got to work out the answer. So, but it says plus 4 more if you include the table. Now, we're not including the table.
Because
So
that's wrong.
it's you've got to count up everything that's come before. So we'll have a quick reminder. You need to include a dinosaur, a goat, a hippo, a cow, a seagull, a squid, a buffalo, a dog, a polar bear, a kangaroo, the boy, a pig, the octopus.
Centipede.
The centipede's down there. We've got.
Slug, snail.
Is that a duck? We had a duck? I guess that's
Oh
a
yeah,
duck. Yeah.
duck, lemon
Duck.
cake.
Yeah, duck carrying the lemon cake, the chimpanzee, the frog, and then the slug, the snail, and the whatever it was,
Maggot.
the maggot that didn't count, and the centipede, like you say. So that's the 100. And the next page has got the number on it, so I'm not going to show that page because people have got to write in and say what they think the answer is. Should we give a prize? I can't think what prize to give, but I'll think of a prize that I can send the people. Okay, I think we're done. I think it's time for TTFN. So hope everyone has a wonderful day. We've got our usual family quiz this afternoon. What film did we watch last night? Polar Squad.
Yeah.
Polar Squad. And we watched, what did we watch this one? Oh, we watched we watched half of The Masked Singer. We loved The Masked Singer in our house.
Yeah.
So there was the American series of The Masked Singer last night.
I love the name of the thingamajig.
Oh, Thingamajig. Yes, there was Thingamajig. We didn't like Egg.
Yeah.
But
Well,
eggs.
I like his voice. It's just the
Oh,
costume.
yeah, he was a bit
not
creepy.
the best.
Yeah. And who was your other favourite?
Butterfly.
Butterfly, yeah, Butterfly was a really good singer. Yeah, we got to watch the other half later on. So we've got that. So the other half of Masked Singer, and we've got the family quiz. And I was thinking maybe Harry Potter for tonight. Do you fancy Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. In which case, TTFN for now. We'll be back tomorrow with chapter 21 of The Adventures of the Wishing Chair, the final week of story time. So we'll have to think what we do and kind of like the finale. Can't say it. So we'll say bye-bye. Let's flip it round so you can say bye-bye as well.
Bye.
Okay, we'll be back tomorrow. Bye, everyone.